Join me as we talk all things true crime.
Made contact and shattered.
The missing 4-year-old. The parents have called in and advised that the mother has went through a wall, came home, now they can't find her.
Chad, where are Lori's kids? They've been missing for 4 months. You have nothing to say?
4 were stabbed multiple times and were likely asleep during the attack. Some had defensive wounds.
Most of them had just like one that was the lethal stab wound.
Oh, what a tangled web we weave. Once I told a lie, and I told my family, I had to keep lying.
What's your, is it deemed?
We haven't cleared anybody.
Hello. How's everybody doing today? Hi, Derek. Good to see you. Let me know if my audio is good. I'm going to be trying to do a Sunday night live or evening live. Welcome, Delaney. Thanks for becoming a member. Thank you, Johnny, serving some tea. So hopefully, since I'll be out of town, hi, Pointer Lover. Good to see you. Next week, I can squeeze in Sunday, Monday, Tuesday live streams. So hopefully I can make that happen. Now, for those who don't know this case, we have some other deep dives into this case that will give you a full background. Tonight, we do have 45-minute audio to listen to of Stephan Sterns' police interview. So we're just going to kind of get right into it. And hello, Ava and Tony, everyone else who's joining, Sherry, and the other Sherry's here too. So glad to see everybody. So like I said, let me share my screen. Before we get into the audio of the interview, Law and Crime came out with their own breakdown of some of the interview. I'm not going to play their whole segment because we're going to break it down ourselves as well. But I do want to play this part here. So this came out a little bit ago. So we're just going to listen to this. They kind of dig into some of the documents that we won't be digging into tonight. But since they've kind of shown it on their screen, we'll show it and share it here. Hi, Melmac, and everyone else who's joining. This account, good to see you. I know this case is very hard to kind of follow and listen to. I'm invested because we've been following it even when she was a missing teen. So before her body was even found, we were kind of following this case. So I just feel like let's get into listening to the audio. And of course, we're going to obviously get infuriated with him. He's going to keep lying. And I think we've kind of all prepared ourselves for that. And hello, Jay. Good to see you. Marshall Dove. Hazel Eyes. I pull comments up my entire stream. So I don't leave them on there long. But we haven't even started, so I don't see the problem pulling them up. But yeah, this case really is infuriating.
There have been a lot of questions about what Maddie's mother, Jen Soto, knew about Maddie's disappearance.
So that is one of the main points of contention in this case. What did the mother know? When did she know it? It's coming out, and it seems as though she was aware that they were sharing a bed at times. Very disturbing, very unsettling. And I think actually I have the direct quote right here from her police interview. So it says, sworn statements from police. Newly released documents show Kissimmee police detectives on March 14th provided sworn statements of their discussions with Madeline's mother, Jennifer Soto, and Stephan Sterns. Jennifer Soto stated while they were together, Jennifer, Stephan, and Madeline, would either all sleep in the same bed or Madeline would sleep with her when Stephan was not there. One statement reads, when asked if that was normal, that Stephan and Madeline would sleep together without her being there, she said yes, statements say. Jennifer Soto stated if she needed a good night's sleep due to her anxiety, she would ask them, Stephan and Madeline, to sleep in a different room. So, it just goes back to this whole what type of culpability, how much accountability, what did the mother know in this case? And it's appearing to be just as bad as I think we kind of predicted. Although I know some people were, including Gray Hughes, were under the impression, oh no, she was not aware of certain things going on. Like, I just feel like this is confirming, and I'm sure it'll come out with even worse information, that she had either some knowledge or maybe in denial and should have been more aware. Yes, Derek, she's complicit. Absolutely. That's how I feel personally. And hello, Kelly and Bella Italia. Good to see you guys. If you guys haven't heard or hit the like button, can you please do so? It is a free way to help the channel out. Also, it's much appreciated for those who join the membership. Just thank you so much, Delaney, for joining. And yeah, I just wanted to pull that up. And thank you, Sherry. I really appreciate you, and you're always here supporting me. So thank you so much. Criminality is here. She has the audio that we're going to be playing. So once I play this little segment here from Long Crime, she's allowed me to pull up her copy of the audio, and then we'll just listen to it. So I really appreciate that, Teresa. Thank you so much.
Anything. A police report says a detective interviewed Jen Soto and Stearns a day after that audio interview. Jen Soto told detectives that she, Maddie, and Stearns typically slept in the same bed together, but there were times that Stearns and Maddie slept in another bed together if she needed a good night's sleep because of her anxiety. A detective wrote that he confronted Jen Soto with evidence that Stearns had been sexually abusing Maddie. The document is redacted with names blacked out, but it says that Jen Soto asked to see the image of Stephan and Maddie. I pulled out a printed picture from Stephan's Google Drive that showed Maddie with Stephan's penis in her mouth. Jen said she didn't recognize anything in the picture, as if she was in denial. However, she became visibly upset. In interviewing Stephan Stearns, the detectives wrote, Stephan stated that Maddie always needed human contact when going to sleep. Stephan referred to it as snuggling.
So I just want to pause it there and kind of get back to this whole, she asked to see the photo. She says she doesn't recognize anything in the photo, and she was in denial about it. So now it's hard because we don't see this interview on camera. I would love to kind of see her body language, her facial expressions. I'm not saying I want to see the photo. I just want to kind of, read Jennifer for how she was kind of hit with this news in real time. And I don't know. Yeah, I know. Angela says, I feel like I'm going to puke. I know this is very disturbing tonight, this whole live stream. So this whole case, I mean, let's be honest. We knew it was going to be bad, and it's gotten worse. And he is a terrible, terrible person. Now, when it comes to Jennifer, how are we feeling about that? That's what I just feel like her kind of acting like she's in denial and not recognizing things in the photo. I just don't know how much of that I believe. I mean, why would a mother let their child sleep with the boyfriend? That I don't understand. And the mother says that she left the bedroom sometimes for her own anxiety to get some good sleep and left them alone together. That's also something I'm not really understanding either. I don't know how you guys feel. Right. Bella says, how would she not know? Can't stand either of them. I mean, wouldn't you just be like almost like I don't know, and 100% complicit if not involved in some screwed up way, right? Did she just want to keep this going just to have Stephan around in her life? She just didn't care, in my opinion, right? Pointer lover says she knew. She did not protect her daughter. That should be a crime. I know. She should be charged, I feel. She knew, I feel. I know. How are they going to prove that she knew unless she's in some of these images? Hopefully not, but it's so hard. She fed her daughter to a monster, literally. So crazy to even try and think about this craziness. I know. I know it's not popular opinion, but she is complicit. Yeah. What was she thinking? That's what I want to know. Complicit, or whether she was complicit or not, doesn't sound like A+ parenting. It is disturbing. And it was, yeah, she started off so young. I mean, she was like around 11 and stuff. Why are you leaving your 11-year-old daughter with your boyfriend in the bed? And I mean, that's when all this stuff kind of happened too. They said it went back for years. I know. I don't believe any of it. On what planet do you send your little girl to go sleep in bed with your boyfriend? It doesn't make any sense. None of us can rationalize it. I think if she was in the images, they would have arrested her. True. I feel she's just as guilty. And what could she be charged with? I know. Yeah, exactly. I don't buy this she needs human contact to sleep stuff either. That sounds like some kind of pervy excuse, right? And the other excuse too, a pervy excuse is like, for my anxiety, sometimes I slept in my own bed and left them. What? What the heck? Yes, she lied for him as well, saying she went to school. I know, guys. I could go on and on with your guys' outrage, but we have that audio to listen to, so let's get into
Interview went on, I asked Stephan if Maddie had ever been sexually active with anyone in the past. Stephan stated there was an incident when Maddie was much younger. Stephan said that she did something with a phone or camera, but she wasn't scolded for it. Stephan said she was very young when this happened. When detectives asked Stearns about the photos on his drive, he asked whether he should be talking to a lawyer.
All right, so the audio. I've only heard a little bit of it, so it will be a live reaction with you guys. Again, please subscribe. I've liked the video on criminality. She has put this out. Again, it's just the audio. Unfortunately, we don't have the visual of the interview. Maybe down the line, just to kind of see his body language and all that. But yeah.
Case number 24-11313.
Brace yourself.
Today's date is February 27, 2024. The time is 19:16 hours. We're in custody speaking with Stephan Stearns. Okay, so I know that you already spoke to the other detective, right, about everything that kind of happened today. If you can just kind of go over it with us one more time, the timeline from like when you guys woke up and took her to school and all that.
So we woke up early. The plan was that we were going to get McDonald's breakfast on the way, so we made amazingly good time.
I don't mean to interrupt you, okay? Neither of us were here yesterday, so if you can be kind of like specific about like times and stuff like that, okay?
Woke up around 7:15, somewhere around there, which is an early start for us, but we had talked about getting McDonald's breakfast beforehand, so we wanted to make good time. We did make good time. We got out the door maybe 7:30ish, 7:45ish, maybe. Got over to that area. She was asleep in the car most of the time.
So for this interview, Go Gators, I agree. The female detective is great. She got the POS by the end. So when she's doing this interview, has she already seen the images and stuff on his phone? And I agree, Derek. And hello, Roxanne, and everyone else who's joined. And again, how did this lead up to her death? What exactly took place? Was he being rejected? Did she threaten him? Okay, so she hadn't seen the images yet. She, did Madeline put her foot down and say, like, enough's enough, I'm going to tell somebody, and he just lost it? Like, I just am having a hard time kind of picturing what led to her demise. I don't believe that she was pregnant. I know that's been a theory for a long time. And one of the reasons why I don't believe that is because I feel like there would be a charge for the unborn added to his charges. You guys let me know how you feel about that as well.
Snooze until we got there. We got to McDonald's. We're close to McDonald's. I said, "You still want it?" Wasn't interested in the McDonald's anymore, so we continued on. And she wanted to be dropped off a little down the ways from the school.
So of course he's going into this whole like I dropped her off away from the school, blah blah blah. Criminality says over drugged. See, that's something that we were kind of speculating on. But then when they talked about there was something that came out a few weeks ago that talked about the level of crime, or I mean, no, it was like the charge or whatever. And it said from domestic, from DV, a death that occurred from DV. So we were all like, okay. So I don't know if that kind of falls under that category. But thank you, Derek, for gifting 5 memberships. Welcome to those 5 members. And if you have a chance to thank Derek, please do so. It's much appreciated again. But yeah, Dispatch Crystal says, I believe she was standing up to him. Welcome, Legendary. I just feel like if she was pregnant, there would be charges for the unborn, like added to his. But I guess we still have time to figure all that out.
She's got this phase that she's been into lately where she's very particular about what car she's seen getting out of in front of the school. She prefers her mom's car, but my cars are, I guess, kind of hoopties. I get it. It's an image thing. But that was sometime probably between 8:20 and 8:40-ish, somewhere in there. It was along the stretch of the road that on the right side that has all the communities on it. Before you get to the overpass. You could see the overpass from where it was. So it was on that side, on that stretch of road, and that's where I dropped her off. She said she was going to go wait for her friends. She was going to find them and hang out and wait for her friends. And I asked if that was going to be okay. She said, yeah, it's fine. Kids get dropped off early enough as it is. It's not totally unusual for that to happen. It's just not usually that early that I drop her off. I do school runs every once in a while for her. I said, okay. Let her out. Have a good day. Love you. Thanks. Love you too. And I turned around and was driving away and was watching her in my rearview mirror to make sure that she was going where she was to go. And she was moving in that direction, but she was rummaging around in her backpack or something. What I assumed was probably headphones or something like that. But I find out later that she forgot her phone here, so she may have been rummaging for her phone. But she was still kind of making her way towards that direction, so it looked okay. It looked like any other day. And I just continued on.
Okay. When you said you dropped her off, like in the area, kind of like where exactly did you drop her off?
So if you pull down the street going towards the school, you've got that whole strip of communities on the right side there. It was in that stretch of sidewalk there. We pulled in and maybe about halfway up the street or so, and she was like, right here's good.
Was it like in one of the apartment complexes, the church?
Not in, it was outside on the apartment. It was just on the sidewalk on the side of the road there, just like a tuck and roll, you know?
Okay, so like if I were to be on the road, where, like, what do you remember seeing that you dropped her off at?
I remember the overpass is up ahead. The sidewalk was on the right, row of trees. There's, I think, a median in the middle. And then there was another community maybe across from that before you get to the church. So it was like before the church.
So Town Loop Boulevard's that street that connects to the school.
Yeah.
Is that the street that you?
Is this which one?
So that's Town Loop Boulevard, right? That's the
Town Loop,
one
yes. And where's the school located here?
that school's right here.
School's right there. Okay, so the school would be on the left in this case. Here's the
So you
overpass
you
I was
guys came from
talking
this side?
about. Yeah, we
Okay.
came from Town Loop, I think,
Mhm.
which is Town Center. Yeah, so we made a right here and then pulled somewhere about.
So you came from Town Center and turned onto Town Loop.
Yeah, where's the church? Is this the church here?
There
I
was
would
a, yep,
assume so,
that's the
yeah.
church. Yeah.
Okay, so we weren't up to the church yet. So we were pulled onto here and then we pulled maybe about halfway up here and I dropped her off somewhere in this area here.
And she walked from there to the school?
Yeah.
It's a pretty long way.
It's maybe a block or so, but it's not out of the ordinary for her. She likes to do that sometimes. She likes the cold weather. She was wearing her hoodie. She likes the cold walks.
So you dropped her off near Lilac?
What kid likes the cold weather and wants to walk a block when they're getting dropped off to school? It's just like some of the stuff he says, like to the investigator, she's like, oh, okay. Like the investigator is just very much like, oh, got you. Yeah. But you know that the investigator is thinking like, this is BS. And thank you so much, Sherry, for gifting the memberships. And if you guys can thank Sherry, if you got gifted one, thank you so much. And welcome, Debbie. I saw Debbie Fox came in and other people are showing up. Thank you. Shane says, thank you, Amber. Love your channel. Where's CDT tonight? Oh, yeah, taking a true crime break. Yeah, she is. She is taking a break. We still talk. She still follows true crime here and there, but she's more on TikTok. So if you go to TikTok, thank you, Derek, for being a member for 31 months. Holy cow. That's awesome. I'm so glad that we've like known you guys that long. I really appreciate you guys still sticking around. But yeah, welcome to the new members and thank you again. He says, give a thumbs up. Yeah, much appreciated if you do. It's a free way to help the channel. But yeah, I mean, we just know when he's talking that it's just BS.
Does that sound right?
Yeah, it wasn't at a cross street. It was just a bit of the sidewalk there.
So did you merge into the sidewalk or did you stop in the middle of the street or?
I just pulled over to the sidewalk there. Let her hop out.
How often do you drop her off?
This might be the 5th or 6th time I've ever done it.
Okay. And when you drop her off, where do you normally drop her off at?
Normally down the street from the school. She requests that a lot.
Like the same area or somewhere else?
Especially if it's sometimes in the church parking lot, sometimes just wherever she tells us to let her out. As long as it's close, you know.
So it's halfway between Town Loop and Town Center and the church?
Yeah, it's just in this stretch right here. Like we got about maybe halfway up and.
Okay, so I don't know if criminality is still here listening, but I just pulled up the article that kind of discusses what the medical examiner's office was saying about her cause of death. The medical examiner's office said the report is confidential and exempt from being publicly released because it involves a minor and then it says, whose death is related to an act of DV. So I don't know what exactly constitutes as DV in their definition, but I don't know if it's the theory that she was drugged like we kind of suspected or maybe theorized earlier in when this case broke. So it just seems like there was violence involved. For whatever reason, we still need to find that out.
Okay. Was there.
The McDonald's that you guys were going to stop at, did you pull into the plaza at any point?
No, she 86 the idea before we even got there.
Okay, so he says we plan on going to McDonald's and then she 86, for those who don't know, that's restaurant term for not available, like not she 86 the idea. So she changed her mind, doesn't want it anymore. I know, 86, come on, bro. Exactly. And honestly, what kid doesn't want McDonald's?
What do you mean by 86?
Poo-pooed the idea, didn't want it anymore.
Okay.
Wasn't in the mood anymore.
At any point while you were driving to the school, did you make a U-turn?
Yeah, I tried to sell her on McDonald's one more time because I was still kind of hungry, but at that point she was also just wanting to get to school.
Okay,
so we
where
turned right back around.
where did you make that U-turn at?
Actually, the school park, not the school parking lot, the church parking lot. I pulled into that, turned around, and pulled back out. Did a UE there and went back to the McDonald's. She still wasn't having it. And that's when we came back. See, the McDonald's is on the same town loop or town center. It connects to the same road that the,
Mm-hmm.
That the school's on?
Yeah,
So
so
town
it's like
loop.
a straight shot.
So you guys came from, just so I can kind of get a good visualization, town center, and where did you come from? Town center.
Town center. So where's the McDonald's? I'm so bad at reading these. I'm sorry. So we
This
came.
is all town center.
So we came across on town loop, I believe. Is that the school that is that the road that the school is on?
No, this is town center. So you
Okay.
said you were on town center, and then you made a right on town loop, which is
Yeah.
the one that takes you to the school,
Yes, correct.
right? But what I'm saying is before town loop, or I'm sorry, for town center, what street did you take?
I'm so sorry. I'm bad with the streets around here.
How do you usually get to the school?
I just take John Young and then wait till I see the McDonald's and make a left there and then follow that around, and that goes straight into the road that the school is on. Just use the landmarks, and I don't memorize the street names.
Is that JYP?
Yeah, so this is JYP.
I mean, at the McDonald's, you turn right?
And then you said you made a left at the McDonald's? So that's
so
Jungyoung Parkway, you're going north
left
on
at
Jungyoung?
McDonald's and then go around, and then that shoots straight into the road that she's on.
Okay. Because that's,
I believe that's the correct road.
yeah, well, that's the fastest way to get there. But you told me you came from town center and town loop.
I'm sorry, I don't know the street names.
Okay.
I'm sorry.
So
I'm doing my
no,
best.
that's okay. So now that we know that you came from Jungyoung Parkway and you made a left on town loop, so you passed the
So,
McDonald's.
yeah, that was when she said no to McDonald's the first time.
Okay. So you guys keep on going on town loop.
Yeah. But at that point, we still had a lot of time to kill. Very early.
So what did you guys do?
Drove towards the school, made a U-turn, came back, tried to do the McDonald's thing again. She didn't want it.
So where did you, one more
did
time,
give
where
her-
did you do the U-turn at?
It probably was right by the church because it was still way too early for school. So it was on that stretch of road. I mean, they had the meeting there.
See, it's interesting how he said earlier that, you know, she would be getting, there was still a long time before school started. And, you know, here he's saying that, you know, it just doesn't make sense. Why would you drop her off so early? They know for sure he's lying. They're already on to him, I feel. And we're only a couple minutes into the interview, 10 minutes in, and I feel like they already know. They know enough at this point. Also, we remember there was experts that were on court TV that were talking about Jennifer Soto's, you know, reaction in her interviews. I seen somebody in chat mention how she was rubbing Stephan's back and stuff like that. You know, it's not just us analyzing her. It's experts who are saying the way she's behaving, the way that she's speaking in these interviews, her lack of wet tears, pleas for people to help find that her daughter, because remember, some of the interviews were done, well, most of them were done before they ever even found her. They just are saying, the experts are saying she didn't have a natural reaction to a mother in this instance, in this situation. So I always keep that in mind also. It's not just our own feelings about this seems so wrong, like what's going on? Why isn't the mother like crying. It's just so odd. There's experts that are pretty much validating our feelings towards Jen and saying, like, yeah, we've never seen anything like this ourselves.
The separation, so that left turn where the church is, you can make a U-turn there.
And then after you dropped her off, what did you do?
Stayed, talked to her for a minute, made sure, is it all right that you're going early? Because it was still early. She said, yeah, it's fine. I'm gonna hang out, wait for my friends to get there, which she does sometimes. So it didn't sound, outrageous or anything.
And you know what's also interesting too? She allegedly, according to Stephan, left her phone at home. She's severely ADHD and she forgets it. So you're telling me this girl, and again, they already know that he's lying, I feel, and we know he's lying at this point too. But just to think about this in real time, like, what does he think he's trying to pull? She wanted McDonald's and she didn't want McDonald's. It was too early to go to school, but she still wanted to go to the school and wait for her friends to show up who aren't going to be there because it's so early. And she has no phone with her. It's like at that point, a kid would have said, like, oh my gosh, I just realized I left my phone at home. Can we go back and get it?
That was it. Told her to have a good day. I loved her. She told me she loved me too. I turned around to leave, and I was watching her in my rearview mirror. She looked like she was walking in the right direction. She was rummaging in her bag a little bit, like I said, but still sort of just shambling in the right direction while she was doing it. So it looked normal. It looked okay.
And yes, that's right. He ends up saying in this interview that he left his phone at home. That's deliberate. That's him purposely leaving a tracking device because we can get tracked with our phones. He purposely left that at home, but then in this interview acts like, well, I was in a hurry and I left it at home. So you guys both leave your phones at home. Right.
Okay, and then what did you do after you left the area?
I left to go to the local vape shop because I needed some more vape juice. They weren't quite open yet, so I ended up going back home. Waited about an hour or so, and then went back and checked the vape shop again. It was open, so I got what I needed there. And, came back home.
Do you remember what time you came home?
The first time was probably right around 10, close to it. And then I waited here and went back to the vape shop. Probably finished at the vape shop and came back home again a little after 11.
Okay. You said the first time that you hung out was a little bit, right?
Yeah.
Was there when you got here at 10? Okay.
I think so. She might have been at her blood appointment. Let me double check. I know she had a blood appointment at some point during the day.
It's okay. We don't have to ask her right now.
Sorry, everything's a blur.
So she might have been here. She might have not have been here
I
the first time.
believe she was here because she was sleeping in as much as she possibly could because she's been messed up with her work schedule. So she had to be here because she didn't want to sleep in.
Okay.
I'll double check, but yeah, I believe she was here.
And then what time did you say you left again to the smoke shop?
Maybe after an hour or so, maybe 11 or so.
Okay. And then what time did you get to the smoke shop?
It's maybe 10 minutes away, so not long after that. Stopped in, got some juice.
What's the name of the smoke shop?
Eastman Broadway.
Okay.
It's just over off of John Young. It's not far from the school.
And then after the smoke shop, what did you do? Okay, for how long?
At least until maybe 12:30, 12:45ish, something like that.
And then what'd you do after that?
I had a couple errands to run over on 192. She was talking about making a BJ shopping list. She just wanted to make sure I was back in time for us to both go pick up So I was visiting some card shops around the area on 192. I'm kind of a nerd, so we had a new trading card game release, and I was seeing what the situation was with it.
Do you remember what places you visited?
Yeah, Coliseum of Comics. Stopped by a couple Targets, and I was going to go to House Rules Games down by Oak and 192.
Mm-hmm.
But I didn't make it that far. I got a flat tire on the way.
Do you remember where you got your flat tire?
It was on 192. I pulled into one of those plazas somewhere. It's been about 10 years since I switched out a tire, though, so I made a lot of rookie mistakes and ended up pinning my thumb between the frame and the jack. Yeah, I'm lucky it's not a lot worse than it could have been.
Do you remember the name of the plaza by any chance? Do you remember like what stores were in this plaza?
It was like right before you got to Oak, though.
So he's talking about how he got some injury changing the flat tire. And then he's like, oh, it could have been worse. But I'm wondering if that was a defensive wound from their fight.
Oh, so it was one of those little strips.
Okay. And then
but I did not
that?
make it back in time because of that. I thankfully had the spare. I put that on and tried to get back in time, but caught every red light on the way. She ended up leaving to pick up Maddie without me. I was about 10 minutes late on that. I called her and let her know what happened. I apologized profusely because I promised I'd be there with her to go pick her up. Just sat and waited. After that, she had already gone to get her, so I just sat and waited and hung out, straightened up the house a little bit. That was it. Then we got the call.
What do you mean you got the call?
Got the call from her. Had not come out. We started getting worried. I started making calls to her family. Be on the lookout. She might be walking to you.
You know, Derek, I know that people theorize like, oh, the flat tire was so that he had it. Okay, so she was found off the side of the road, kind of back on somebody's like ranch property or something like that. It was private property, but the road was sort of out there, not really that busy, but at the same time, people theorized that he faked the flat tire so that he would have an excuse in case anybody saw him like dumping her body. Like he could say, well, I had a flat tire. Like, here's the little donut spare that I put on it. That's what they saw me doing out there. I personally think that it was just bad luck. I think that he's probably the type of guy listening to him talk about gaming and trading cards and, you know, all this nerdy stuff. I think he's the type that let his car go. Like he didn't really get regular maintenance on it. I think it was just one of those situations where it was like divine intervention, honestly. And I think that he just got the flat tire, just bad luck. But I'm curious what you guys think. Do you think that it was deliberate so that he would have an excuse to be seen pulled over in that area? I just think he's not that smart to kind of think that way. I think that he was probably panicking when he realized that it was flat. But again, we don't really know yet. Planet says, I think the flat tire was real and he had to place her body there. There's a chance he had an idea of where he wanted to actually put her. Where was Jen when all this was going on? Good question. That's honestly the $1 million question for that entire morning. Where was Jen? Yeah, I was thinking that too. Maybe he tried to drive off road, ran something over. But I know that Gray Hughes theorized that it was deliberate and that it was like a fake flat tire situation. I honestly don't think that. But I'm open to your guys' opinions. Derek's on the fence. It's hard to know, but it is interesting to kind of wonder, like, how how much bad luck can somebody have, you know? Like, you're trying to get rid of a body and all of a sudden you get a flat tire. Like, I guess that would be, like, very coincidental and unlucky, but I don't know, it was a 2010 car. Don't really think that he's a car guy. I don't think he, like, took care of it. It's hard to know, but it is interesting to kind of picture, like, what exactly took place. Like, was he like, "Oh my gosh, how is this happening?" Or was it like, "Oh yeah, I'm gonna be slick and I'm gonna be smart. I'm gonna change this flat over here while I dump her there. That way, in case anyone's wondering what I'm doing, I have this excuse."
That's just when everything sort of started going downhill.
Was it?
Did you check on the map the southbound? The Greenville? I'm not sure where Greenville is. I noticed, I'm sorry, that she forgot her phone, right? Is it normal for her to not have her phone?
Unfortunately, she's severely ADHD, as am I and her mother. So it is not uncommon at all, and that very, very usual thing for her to forget things.
There has been so many parents of kids who have ADHD who say, my kid would not forget their phone still." So I'm curious your guys' opinion there. And it just seems like that answer was just so rehearsed. Like, unfortunately, it is, you know, pretty common for her. It was just, I don't buy it.
She'd forget her head if it wasn't screwed on. We're forgetful about, writing her about that. It will remind her, and then it will leave our mind, and she'll say okay, and then it will leave her mind.
And is she on medication for this stuff?
Normally, yes. She's been staying with her grandparents a lot this week while her mom was working. So she has not been getting her meds a whole lot. Okay. So she was really spacey.
Where's mom working? What changed in her hours that she didn't want to sleep?
She's treated, so it's not a set schedule yet.
Okay.
It's just early this day, late closing training this day.
Different hours. Yeah, no, that takes a toll.
So I came up here. She needed help. I split my time between the two places. I needed a visit. We all needed to be a little happier together. So
That's the main thing. Really big. Just tell them.
And where's the McDonald's?
Right.
So that doesn't. Right. Because the school's up here?
We're messing up the streets again.
Yeah, this one's town center, but town loop.
We're just trying to figure out your direction of travel, right?
I'm so sorry. I'm so bad with that area over there, Hunters Creek.
You said you made a U-turn at the church to go see if she wanted McDonald's again, correct?
Yes.
Did you go anywhere else? Because I know you said you had time to kill.
Yeah.
Did you guys go anywhere else?
No, we didn't go anywhere else.
Is there a reason why you would be back on John Young Parkway?
When we tried to go back to McDonald's a second time, we would have made a left over there instead and just looped around again.
What do you mean?
Just made a circle.
Made a circle how? Can you show me on the map?
So
this
going,
is the
going back
McDonald's right
down
here,
to
right?
McDonald's.
That's the McDonald's right there.
Correct. So going back down and then just straight shot back down.
You would come down this way?
I can't read the map. I'm so sorry.
Yep, I'll go.
Where's the McDonald's?
McDonald's is right here. This is town loop. So this is John Young Parkway.
John
You guys
Young,
are coming
okay,
up John
this is
Young.
McDonald's.
Yep.
And the school's on this corner.
Correct. Somewhere over here. So we come back out here, there, and then we can take a straight shot back down to the school again there. They connect. Town Loop and Town Center connect.
Right.
So it's.
So where did you make the U-turn?
The U-turn was was on the street when we were going to go back to McDonald's. So we drove down to McDonald's here.
Right. So just so I don't get confused, you're going up Jungyoung Parkway, right? You're going northbound.
Originally, yes.
Right. You make a left at the McDonald's.
Here, go towards the school.
Okay. How far did you get before you made the U-turn? So
we got. Is this the school right here?
Yep, that's Townwood.
So we got up to here and then made a U-turn over here, past the median.
Okay. So.
And back to McDonald's.
On Lincoln Town Loop.
Still time to kill. She still didn't want the McDonald's, but I did give her a raspberry and cheese Danish.
So did you go through the drive-thru? Did you go inside?
No, didn't go inside.
Where did you get the Danish from?
Oh, the Antonines that I brought from home. I gave a couple of those.
Okay.
So now all of a sudden a Danish pastry has entered the story that he grabbed from home. The detective's like, so wait, where did that come from?
So she wasn't without food totally. So we just continued past it again and turned around and said, screw it, just drop you off early.
Okay, so you came back around to the McDonald's.
And then right onto the school.
Is that back on Jungyoung Parkway?
Yeah, back on the Jungyoung Parkway. It comes down here. And then here's Town Center again.
So then you took Town Center.
Yes.
The second time around?
Yes, and then made it right down to the school.
Do you remember what time you dropped her off?
I estimated it to be sometime between 8:20, 8:40.
Are you on your phone? Do you have Google Maps?
I do, but I wasn't mapsing it.
When you're giving her rides, does she sit in the front or the back?
She sits in the front.
Do you mind if I look at your maps real quick?
Yes.
And just to confirm, also, you said, so the second time around, you said you went up Jungyoung Parkway, you went through Town Center this time, made a right on Town Loop, and then you said you dropped her off
right here in this stretch here.
Around this, okay, which was before the underpass.
Correct, before the underpass, just before the church. The church was ahead on the left, the underpass was just beyond that, the school was just on the other side of the underpass. So maybe,
on the left-hand side.
Maybe a block away.
Okay. And you said that that's typical of her to walk that distance?
Yeah, she likes the morning walks when it's cool. She doesn't like being seen getting out of certain cars. Being a middle schooler, it's an image thing. And she will sometimes like to hang out and wait for her friends. She's known to do that.
Do you mind if I just take a picture of your history?
Yeah, it's fine.
And that time would have been, you said around
8:20-ish, 8:30, sometime between 8:20 and 8:40.
What time does she go into class?
She has to be there no later than 9:15. Doors open at 8. Doors open at 9, I think. And then school officially starts around 9:20 or 9:28, I think.
Okay. And when you dropped her off, is that earlier than typical, later than typical, around the same time?
Earlier than typical.
Really?
We had made really good time that morning, and with the subtraction of McDonald's, we had more time than usual.
Okay.
But she said it was okay. She was very confident, convincing that it would be fine.
And you saw what direction she walked to after you dropped her off?
Yeah, it looked like she was moving towards the direction of the school like she was supposed to.
Was she still on the right side of the road, or did she cross over?
She was when I left her, yeah. She was still on the right side. S23.
I don't know how to work this thing.
I barely know how to work it myself.
I'm an iPhone person.
No.
Is it okay if I go in your settings real quick? I just want to see if you're logged on to your Google.
I am not logged on to my Google with that, actually.
Is it okay if I check?
Yeah.
He's very open with her checking his phone because he's already factory reset it. Little does he know all that information can still be pulled.
Does she have any other devices besides that phone? Any other electronics?
She had her school laptop with her.
Is that still supposed to be with her?
Still supposed to be with her, yes.
Okay. And what kind of book bag was she carrying?
Black book bag with like grayish blue hibiscus flowers on it, like a print.
When she leaves in the mornings, where does she usually put her phone?
Either in her backpack or like her back pocket, kind of wherever she just thinks to put it at the time.
Hold on, I don't know how to use this phone. Sorry, I don't mean to interrupt.
I don't know, you've probably been asked already, but she's never.
I believe law enforcement they definitely can tell that he just factory reset his phone, because at one point in this interview, she points out, you don't have any, I'm looking through your call logs and you don't have any calls before yesterday. Is that normal? And then he goes into telling her like, oh yeah, I accidentally, factory reset it or whatever. It's like, I think she's figuring it out too, when she's saying, can I pull up your Google Maps and all that stuff? And there's not going to be any record of anything because he's factory reset it. So it's going to kind of sound off alarms. Like, even if we pull up our phones right now, I mean, you pull up your call logs, there's going to be calls on there. You pull up your maps, there's going to be old destinations that you have on there. And I think that she's doing that and realizing like there's nothing on here. So I think that not only can they tell with using like a data pull like Celebrate, but they can tell just from looking at it.
Ran away or been away for longer than a certain period of time, amount of time?
No, she's very dependent on this. I don't think she'd know what to do if she did run away. She's not the type. She's a good kid.
Besides the ADHD, is she diagnosed with anything else?
Yeah, she was tested a while back and had some symptoms of autism, so she's potentially on the spectrum there.
Okay.
She was officially diagnosed with it when she was younger, and then she was retested and said, well, she shows symptoms of being on the spectrum, but maybe not full-on autistic.
Is this what you use to go places?
Yes. Go places, search addresses, look at store hours, write reviews. It's a pretty new phone, though.
I agree.
Have we had any updates?
We literally have like 50 people right now on scene looking. I don't know if there's any updates. The best person would be the other detective because he's the one that is in charge of all this.
I don't think I've eaten anything since yesterday.
Yeah, I'm sure you guys are worried.
When did you come back to help? Pardon?
Yeah. What do you mean?
Like, because you live down south, right? When did you come back up north to help her?
I just got here this weekend.
Do you remember what day it was?
Sunday. Sunday was her birthday party, so yeah, it was the evening after her birthday party. Sunday.
Okay. Do you remember what time you got here on Sunday?
8:30ish, maybe.
Okay.
Just in time to make sure that she was doing all her nighttime routines. I'm waiting for her mom to get home.
You live in North Pole, right?
Yeah, I split my time between the two.
Is that on
places.
Snug Street?
Snug Street.
Okay,
Yeah.
that makes sense. You have a lot of Snug Street on here.
Yeah, I split my time between the two.
Is that Broward County or?
Sarasota County, I
Sarasota,
believe,
okay.
or Charlotte County, either way. It's my parents' house. They're old. They need help these days. They got a house full of poodles. It's chaos. So I needed to come back up here and just get away from that. Between two deaf old people yelling at each other and poodles yapping all the time, it's enough to drive anyone up a wall. Just very happy to be back here.
Did you and your wife, when you guys were looking for, where did you guys look?
Me and her stayed local. It was all the rest of the family that mobilized and was beating the bushes. And
Did you guys drive together or separate?
I don't think we drove anywhere when we were looking.
You didn't drive anywhere?
Not that I recall.
Did you guys go anywhere last night? Was that media?
Maybe. I think Fox 35 or something was filming.
If it is, let me tell him to use it.
Okay.
I don't recall. You have to ask her if we went anywhere. I don't recall. I was so zonked out on Ativan at that point.
So he's blaming Ativan for not remembering if they went anywhere. And then he says, you'll have to ask Jennifer, if she recalls if we drove anywhere to look for Madeline. So this, to me, leads me to think that Jennifer is in on this lie and this cover up. He's leaving it up to her or whatever her story is. So I'm curious what Jen had to say, because we know that he's lying. We know that he is charged for this, but did she lie? We need to know.
She said it was a wreck. I don't.
And this would have been when?
I don't recall us going anywhere last night, but honestly, at that point, my brain was mush, and I was on so many tranquilizers to keep me stable. It's just.
You said Ativan?
Yeah.
Do you usually take that, or?
I'm wondering if Jennifer is on these tranquilizers, Ativan, in her interviews.
Yeah, I have a prescription. I haven't needed it in a long time, though. But
what's that for?
Anxiety.
Okay.
I was having these rolling panic attacks and breaking down crying, and I just.
Oh, it got lost. Sorry.
Thank you. Here you go. And it was the only way I could get to sleep last night. And then again this afternoon. That's why I missed your calls. I'm sorry. So took an Ativan and conked out for a few minutes. It's the only time when I'm not crying. It's okay if I just pop down real quick.
So we're trying to get just a good idea, times, all that stuff.
Yeah.
Um,
I'm so sorry. I'm giving my best recollections. I'm not a morning person as it is. So a lot of the times are best guess.
but we know that you go up Jongyang Parkway down. That's the road you usually take to take her, and then you make a left at that McDonald's, right, which is the town loop.
You can make a left to get there either at the McDonald's or at town center itself. They both lead to the school.
So if you leave her at, just so you get a sense of direction, Jongyang Parkway goes northbound and southbound. So you're going northbound into Orange County, making a left at the McDonald's, which is the town loop. You said when you did drop her off at that medium, you said it was around 8:20 to 8:30-ish, somewhere around that time.
Somewhere in there, yeah. It was early, but not like outrageously early, you know.
So what would you estimate when you made a left at that McDonald's to be?
After I dropped her off?
No, I'm saying when you dropped her off.
Oh, first left by that McDonald's.
Yeah, when you first go, that first left that you make at the McDonald's.
It had to have been around maybe 8, maybe quarter after 8, sometime in there.
Okay.
Sometime between 8 and a quarter after, I think.
All right. So just so it's, you can kind of picture it here on the map. So you're going northbound. You make a left here around like 8:10, 8:15. Let's say 8:15, around there. When you get over here, you make a U-turn. You go back to the McDonald's. But you said that she still doesn't want the McDonald's.
Still doesn't want it. She was just going to eat the Danishes that I had given her.
So you're going up here now, still northbound on Jongyang Parkway. You make a left at Town Center this time.
Town Center, then make a right onto, yes.
And then you drop her off around like
dropped her off around halfway up the road there.
So keep in mind, all of this is still northbound.
Okay.
Right? You're still northbound on Jongyang Parkway. So why is your car seen going southbound at 8:10? I'll show you what location it is.
Oh, snap. He's being called out in a little bit of inconsistency.
McDonald's is over here.
Mm-hmm.
At 8:10, your car is seen going southbound at this intersection. So meaning going toward Kissimmee.
Mm-hmm. I had forgotten my gate clicker. I'm sorry. I forgot. I had gone back to the house real quick after we left because I forgot my gate clicker. I actually had to go through the front gate and use my parking pass to grab my clicker. So it was the wrong time. I'm sorry. Like I said, I was guesstimating these times. I'm not a morning person.
Okay.
So yes, we've gone out.
How far did you get before you came back down? When you realized you forgot your clicker?
Nearly all the way to the school. And then we turned around. We had plenty of time to kill, so there was time to go back. I rushed back, got the clicker, and that's when I came back here this way.
So you guys came back here to get your clicker?
Correct.
So when we look at the cameras in the front, it's going to show you coming back in here with her in the car?
Yes, with her in the passenger seat,
okay.
yes.
I know it sounds like we're asking you stupid questions, okay? We just want to verify
okay.
the times.
I'm sorry I'm not being more help. I'm not a morning person. I was half asleep as it was. I'm trying.
The clickers to get where?
How many times is he going to say I'm not a morning person? It's like literally 4 at this point.
Into our neighborhood.
Okay. And you forgot the clicker where?
I had forgotten the clicker here.
So how did you get in?
I was able to use my parking sticker for them to scan to let me through.
Okay. So could you not have done that after you dropped her off?
I could have, but I also like to come back in from the back gate a lot of the times, and I didn't know if I would be back right away. And sometimes they're busy up front, so it's better not to wait in the line.
What time is security usually there at the front gate?
They were there when I came through. He scanned my ticket.
So would it have not just made more sense to drop her off and come back since security's already there?
I don't know if it made more sense. It's just what I did.
There you go.
Oh, thank you.
Anything else that we haven't asked that you feel is important? Maybe that might help us out.
I'm sorry. I'm having trouble recollecting everything.
I'm gonna step away for a second.
Now, her stepping away, is she seeing something on his phone or something, you think, or what's this about?
Anything that you remember, maybe she might have told you.
She didn't mention anything in particular. I made a joke about her Crocs. She wears Crocs and socks. So we were joking about that.
Would she say she's usually like a happy, go lucky girl?
Very happy. She brings a lot of joy. She's a very good girl. It definitely doesn't feel the same around here if she's not here. She was so happy too. She was looking forward to my visit here.
She was looking forward to my visit here. I think that's a blatant lie. I think it was the absolute opposite. And that's why it ended the way it did, possibly. I also hate, which he said in an interview on the media, when he says she brings us a lot of joy.
She was looking forward to us all being together. She was just happy. She was just very happy.
Oh,
I loved her like she was my own.
and is she the only child, or does she have siblings?
She is the only child, yes.
Do you have any kids with anyone else, or
no?
So she's kind of
is what we call me.
So you'd say you guys have a pretty good relationship.
Yeah, definitely have a very strong bond. But, I'm the person she goes to when
sick. Definitely a strong bond.
Her mom gets in a fight with her and she needs someone to comfort her, and I'm that person for her,
How's her relationship with mom?
Good most of the time. Puberty not long ago, so she's getting the PMS mood swings, and when her mom gets them too, they butt heads. So, as well as you can expect, but otherwise very loving. Very loving. This girl knows nothing but love here in this house. She hardly ever hears the word no. Double-edged sword that is.
How is she in school?
So-so. She's so-so in school.
Like grade-wise?
She's doing a lot better, though. Apparently, she just made Student of the Week.
Oh, nice. Okay.
Yeah, so we're very proud of her. And she's doing singing, choir, and she's sounding just amazing. She sang for me last night. I immediately wanted to show her the movie Sister Act because the choir singing was so pretty. It reminded me. Told her I was very proud of her.
Does she have does she like video games, anything like that?
She does like video games, yeah. She plays Roblox, Minecraft. I think those are the two big ones that I know of.
You don't know her to like ever have any friends on there that she talks to, anything
She
like
does.
that?
She does group chats. She does like voice chatting too on it. Usually with like her cousins or her friends, and they'll all be playing Roblox or something, yelling at each other on the phone.
When's the last time you all lived together?
December.
And you said the reason was for your parents down there?
Yeah, going down to help them because they're getting on in age and they're making their end of life plans and they need someone to help out.
Can you unlock this one more time? Please?
Sure.
I have a question.
Yeah.
Sorry, are you guys done?
No. Okay.
The other detective mentioned that you did not have your phone yesterday.
Correct.
Tell me about that.
I left my phone at home in the morning too. I was so busy riding Herd over to get us out the door on time that I left my phone. She left her phone. We both left our phones.
Did you have your phone when you went to the smoke shop?
Not the first time after I dropped her off. I was still without it. I got my phone and went back to the smoke shop later when I got home.
And then I also noticed, I was checking your call history. I noticed that you don't have anything before this morning. Is that unusual on your phone?
No, it's a new phone. Stupid. I went to do an update yesterday morning, and I don't know what the fuck. Pardon me. I don't know what the heck I did, but somehow during the massive OS update, I managed to factory reset my phone and lose all of my contacts, all my information.
Mm-hmm. What time was that? Do you remember?
Oh, sometime while I was hanging out with her, I looked at her and said, "What did I just do?"
Okay.
She might know better. I don't know what time it was. It was when I was here with.
Okay. I don't think I have any other questions. Do you, Louis?
I don't know where my head was yesterday. It was so far up my backside.
That's okay. We understand. In the meantime, while we're waiting for all this to get sorted out, I am going to hold on to your phone, okay? I'll give it back to you when we're done. Okay? Do you have any questions for us?
How long are you gonna need my phone?
I'm not sure. I'm waiting for my supervisor to call me.
My dad. It's just my dad's using that to get a hold of me and get updates.
They can call Jen's phone. Okay. Did the other detective give you his business card?
I believe so.
Okay, well, here's mine in case you want it for any reason.
Okay.
Okay? Do you swear that everything you told us is true?
Yes.
Okay, thank you so much. Thanks for your time. We appreciate it. I know it's a little hectic right now. And then I know you were about to head somewhere. If you can just hang tight and refrain from going back in your car, please.
Oh, yeah, that's fine. I was actually going to move it over a spot.
No, just leave it here. It's fine. Thank you.
And that's the end of it. And we do know that he was arrested very soon after from material that was found on that phone. So it's just a lot to take in. Let's see what Law and Crime had on that segment. We listened to a little bit. Hold on. Let me just feel around and yeah, because there is somebody who does some commentary. So we'll listen to a little bit of that. You guys share your thoughts in chat. I know everyone's pretty much outraged. He's a liar. Sicko. I saw the comments and I definitely agree, guys. This case is just there's nothing to do but shake your head and just in disgust. So let's see what this has to say. This was their breakdown of the interview that we just heard. I'm just skipping to some commentary of theirs.
Crimes related to Maddie. I want to bring in Tim Jansen. He's a criminal defense attorney, also a former federal prosecutor. He's been following this case very closely. Tim, your first thoughts on this interview with Stephan Sterns?
Well, it's probably an interview he probably shouldn't have given. It gave a lot of leads and it opened up a lot of contradictions in the evidence. And clearly they were able to get his phone, get things on the phone. He locked themselves into positions that is completely contrary to the evidence. So it's very damaging for him.
You know, he's talking about how he got her up, you know, the wanting to go to McDonald's. There was a lot of focus on this wanting to go to McDonald's, but in the documents that the prosecutors released in discovery, they said that there's video footage that shows him leaving the complex that morning, and that Maddie, he said, he tells the cops she was kind of dozed off and snoozing the whole time, but she's slumped over. So that leads us to believe that she was possibly already dead when he left the complex that morning. But he's talking about wanting to go to McDonald's, and he was going to take her to McDonald's and dropping her off at this church. And it was like really early, but far away from the school. So there's all these like weird little things that he's telling the cops that just don't make sense when talking about dropping a 13-year-old girl off for school.
Yeah, technology again is going to convict this guy. The technology at the gate showed her slumping to her left, which would be opposite the car door. Didn't look normal. What kid turns down McDonald's?
Exactly. That's what I was saying. It makes me wonder, with so much emphasis on this McDonald's, if that was like a promise he had given her like the night before, like, oh, do this for me and I'll take you to McDonald's in the morning before school. And she was like, no, 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 I don't know, just there was so much emphasis on that McDonald's situation. Also, there was something else I was gonna say too, but of course, pregnancy brain. I'm like, I forget what I paused it for. Hold on, guys.
What kid turns down McDonald's twice? Then he said he was going, he's giving his timeline, and then just a coincidence, both of them left their phones at home. So you couldn't get any
Right.
geo tracking. That was purposeful. Her iPad or computer, it was probably turned off also. He said she had her backpack, but then yet cops saw him dumping a backpack in a trash. None of his story adds up. He was going
I'm curious how he got her into his car. So they have cameras at the gate and everyone's referencing like, yes, they'll be able to see she was slumped over in the car. How was he able to get her into the car without, neighbors seeing? I mean, they live in a complex, like the condo complex. Everyone is very close. Just very super risky. Unless it was done at night. Like, when did this happen? When did he move her to the car? I don't know. It's all weird.
the wrong direction. The police did a pretty good job keeping him talking. It wasn't only to the end he says he realizes maybe I should get an attorney. So everything before that
Right.
point is clearly going to be admissible.
One thing that I found very curious was the fact that this happened on February 26th, that him leaving the apartment complex, they say, with Maddie's body in the vehicle. And so he hadn't been at the apartment since December, according to the documents. So he shows up. She had been with her grandparents, apparently. He shows up that Sunday evening at 8:30 at night after her birthday party. She had celebrated her 13th birthday because she had turned 13 days before.
Good to see you, Melly. Thank you for being here.
And then he shows up, and sometime, I think the window would have to be sometime after 8:30, according to law enforcement, and 7 a.m., 7:30 the next morning, something happens, and Maddie is dead, and mom is apparently sleeping in because of a new job, according to him. So we have a 12-hour or so window, maybe 11, 10-hour window where Maddie died, according to law enforcement. So it's very curious to me that he shows up all of the sudden right after her birthday party, and then the police say that he kills her for whatever reason. I don't know if something is supposed to have transpired during that time sexually, but he's talking about how the mom was sleeping in because she has this new work schedule.
Yeah, it seems like what happened. He says he went to live with his parents who were older and complaining about them being deaf and having dogs barking. And maybe what happened, and we're all guessing, speculating, maybe Maddie thought this was over because all those sexual things were earlier when she was younger. Maybe she thought he was gone. And then maybe he shows back up and wants to continue it. And Maddie says, no, I'm going to the cops. I'm 13. We're not doing this anymore. And maybe that's why this transpired. It's just a guess, but the timing would line up with the facts.
Another thing that I found so disturbing was the fact that her mother told law enforcement in an interview the next day, the day after this interview, that they were all sleeping in the same bed together. And then when she needed to sleep by herself because of her anxiety, Stefan and Maddie are sleeping in the same bed together. I mean, and law enforcement
And what exactly was giving Jen this quote unquote anxiety?
says they find videos when she's like 8 years old, even 11 years old, of him sexually abusing her. And I mean, it's unbelievable to me.
It's horrible. And the mother was not a good mother. She has some responsibility for the sexual um, problems that happen here. You can't let 11, 10-year-old sleep with a stepfather in the same bed, not knowing, not asking her what's going on. Um, I don't know if they have enough to charge the mother with the murder. We just don't know. We don't that interview we got, they tried to show her pictures of his private part, and she was in denial, couldn't even do that. So I don't know where they're gonna go with charging her with the murder, but clearly, she should be charged with something, not taking care of her child. Well, she can't lose her child custody, but because the child's dead. But it's a horrible scenario. No stepmother or father should let a child of the opposite sex sleep in the bed with them. It shouldn't, not just those 2, but not with the 3 of them. Things
Exactly.
happen in the middle of the night, and you shouldn't do that. Absolutely shouldn't do it.
No, definitely not. It's actually really unbelievable. And the fact that he actually tried to blame her, saying she had done something with a camera when she was younger, something, and there was something sexual that had happened, and she
Yeah, that's another thing I kind of wanted to go over too. So it says Stephan stated there was an incident when she was much younger. Stephan said, I'm assuming the redacted name is Madeline, did something with a phone or a camera, but she wasn't scolded for it. She was very young when this happened. I'm thinking that that's him covering his tracks for some inappropriate pictures that might be found down the line of her um, in a delicate state at a young age, and he's blaming her for it. But so the main questions I think we want to know, which I'll raise. There's only like a minute left here.
had done something with a camera. I mean, he was clearly trying to cast some blame on Maddie for some of these photographs that law enforcement said in the documents she could not have taken due to the positioning. Tim
But think of
Jansen,
the think of
I think
his
it's just going
think
to
of
get
his
worse from here the more that comes out.
yeah, his interview, how calm and cool he was, right? He's a psychic, man. It's terrible what he was doing. He was making things up as he goes, talking about making U-turns, trying to go to the vape shop. It wasn't open yet. And they said, well, how'd you know what time the vape shop opened? You didn't have your phone with you. Nothing added up. And when they finally confronted him about going the wrong direction, oh, he came up with this clicker. He's a pathological liar and a murderer and a sexual deviant. And he should be in prison. And if he doesn't get the death penalty, he will not hurt another child, another person, hopefully again.
Yeah, and
Drive safe,
he was not out
Ellie.
looking for her, that's for sure. And then couldn't remember anything because he had taken an Ativan, a sedative, the night before. This is what he was telling the law enforcement officers. It's stunning. He's pleaded not guilty. He's presumed innocent
Right.
until proven guilty. But there's a lot of evidence that really does make him look bad.
Look bad. That's an understatement. So the main questions we all want to know is where was Jen Soto, after the birthday party? We know that she was, quote, at work during the birthday party. Where was she after the party? Where was she in the morning? Where was she while Stefan's driving all around, while he's changing his flat tire? We want to know those questions. We need to hear her interview, in my opinion. We want to know her GPS locations from her phone and her phone data. And then also, like, why did this happen? What took place? Like I said, that report, that statement from the medical examiner's office from over a month ago says the cause of death of the 13-year-old Madelinesoto is confidential and exempt from release because she's a minor whose death was related to an act of DV. So I think there's just a lot of unanswered questions in this case still. And those are the main things I want to know. I don't even want to hear about what they found on his phone or, I mean, it was interesting to listen to this interview. I hope you guys enjoyed it, but there's more important questions that I want answered personally. And what do you guys think? Share your thoughts down below too if you're watching on replay. Charged with neglect would be a good start, Jennifer says. I agree that at the very least, there's got to be something that she needs to be held accountable for. I mean, openly admitting that, like, oh, when I have anxiety, I would leave them in bed together. What? It's just, I think we're all having a hard time kind of understanding this case. Yeah, that's the other thing. Every step we need to kind of iron out who supposedly took Maddie home after the party because Stephan was there. I know this one's hard. I wouldn't be surprised if he was drugging Jen too. She seemed drugged in some of her media interviews. All right, guys. I appreciate you guys listening to this with me. I had to hear it. I'm glad I got to hear it with you guys and kind of share the weight of this story because we are invested. We've been invested since she was missing. Melly, thank you so much for becoming a member. We got to get Vinny to make his memberships. So we are curious to hear what Vinny from Court TV has to say. We know that he's been following this case very closely as well. So it'll be interesting. If you guys haven't seen, oh, hi, Michael. Good to see you. If you haven't seen, he has his own YouTube channel outside of Court TV. So, okay, good. That's awesome. All right, guys. Like I said, I appreciate you guys listening to this with me and breaking it down with me. Jay says she enabled this. I feel she pimped her out, her own daughter, because she needed his attention. He manipulated her, but he's an adult and should have known but she's an adult and should have known way better and cared for her daughter. Right. Jesse, member for 12 months. Thank you so much. A whole year. But yeah, again, I'm planning on going live on Sunday. I'm not sure what time. It might be an afternoon live, but I will be gone next week to visit family. There's a wedding next weekend, so we are driving upstate and spending time with family. So I won't be live on my regular days. So I'm hoping to do Sunday, Monday, Tuesday. So stay tuned. We'll see how I'm feeling. And yeah, I appreciate you guys. And thank you to all the members. Thank you to the gifted memberships too and the super chats tonight. And again, all I ask is for you guys to just hit the like button. Everything else is just greatly appreciated. And I'm just so thankful for you guys to listen to these true crime stories with me. And, you know, we're seeking justice for Madeline. We really are. And we want Stephansterns to rot. And that's being nice. But good night, everybody. We'll talk soon. Have a great weekend.